Hi everyone, my name is Henrietta and I'm a natural history illustrator based in Newcastle. Today, as part of Newcastle Library's Create 2020 program, I'll be demonstrating the process of how you can create your own nature journal. Nature journaling is a fun way to observe nature more closely, to reignite your sense of curiosity about the natural world, and to unlock your sense of creativity, which everybody has. You don't need to be an artist. In fact, you don't need to have any experience in art at all to enjoy nature journaling. Imagine you're on holidays taking photos to remember your holiday. Well, nature journaling is just like taking a snapshot in time of your experiences on your holiday, but using your creativity to do that. Here we have a table full of colourful and interesting items that you might like to use for your nature journal. So we have watercolour paints and a few different size watercolour brushes. We've got all sorts of different size pencils, thick ones and thin ones, some black textures. We've got a magnifying glass, which is really helpful if you're looking at smaller items such as seeds. And if you're going to be observing birds outside, it's actually really good to have a small pair of binoculars. We also have some watercolour pencils, and if you're going to use watercolour pencils like we're going to do today, it's also good to have one of these, a water pen, but I'll show you how to use that later. So for the next step, you'll need to venture outside and collect items that interest you. Here we have some items in nature that you might like to collect, either in your own backyard or when you're out near the ocean or in your local bushland reserve. So we have some seeds, some leaves and Banksia seed pods. We've also got a whole lot of different feathers, so cockatoo feathers, magpie feathers. So if you happen to be by the ocean, it's great to collect a couple of open shells or maybe even a bit of seaweed or a sponge. Lots of interesting textures and items that you can find in nature. Today we'll start your nature journal with a leaf, because leaves come in all different shapes and sizes, textures and smells. So it doesn't matter if you don't know the name of the plant that your leaf comes from. You might discover that later through your nature journaling. But it's good when you start to actually study your leaf. So study the shape, the colours, the texture and even the smell. Is it a different colour on the top of the leaf than it is on the bottom of the leaf? So with your leaf, compare that with the leaf chart that will be in the notes included in this video. So I can see that the leaf I have, once I compare it with the shapes on the page, I can see that my leaf has a pointy tip. It also has a serrated edge. And if I turn it over, I can see that the main vein on the leaf is very prominent and red in colour. As you can see, nature journals can be any type of book that you like. But if you're going to use watercolour, you need something at least 110 GSM thick, which is the thickness of the paper. But I also use, when I'm on holidays, these great postcards that you can paint on watercolour paper. And sometimes if I need a smaller journal, I just go outside with one of these, a smaller one. But today I'm going to use an A4 book, which has become my nature journal that I take most places. Place your leaf on the page of your nature journal. But firstly, it's always good to start a new page with the date, time, the place where you are, even the weather or where you collected your leaf. Now that you've observed your leaf closely, start by drawing your leaf on the page. You can start with the basic shape and add details later. And as my leaf has serrated edges, I can just add that in subtly into the drawing. Fill your page with drawings of your leaf and try not to erase any of your drawings. Just accept them as they are and keep drawing. It's one of the reasons why I use a black texter, so I can't rub anything out. It might take a couple of goes to get a leaf that you're satisfied with. Referring back to your leaf chart, start to write some notes on the page next to your leaf. You can write the measurements, that's why it's handy to have a ruler. So my leaf is about 10 centimetres long and about 3 centimetres wide. It also feels quite leathery, so there's details like that that I will write on the page. It's good at this point to also note the colours of your leaf. So the top side is dark green and the underside is much lighter green. Now it's time to add some colour to the page. If you've never used watercolour paints or pencils before, don't worry, it's really easy and there's no right or wrongs, so you can't make a mistake. You can get started by creating a colour library on a separate page of your journal by simply adding a swatch of each colour that you have. So each time you go nature journaling, you already know what colours you have. By using the colour library, see if your leaf is similar to any of the colours. When you have discovered the colours close to your leaf, then you can start adding colour to your page. I'll just demonstrate with watercolour pencils how we do that. The main vein of the leaf here is red, but it also has a yellow tinge underneath, so I'm going to start with yellow. Just roughly adding colour. And then the main part of the leaf is green, of course. But I haven't just got one type of green, I've picked out 3 types of green to use to mix up. So I'm just doing this really roughly because once you apply water, you'll see that the colours just mix really well. Just a bit more green. And now to use your water pen. You can do this really roughly so you don't have to be careful about it. Just use your water pen to blend the colours. It's very satisfying using watercolour pencils and a water pen. I hope you have enjoyed creating your own nature journal today. I'm very keen to see some of your creations, so please tag us on social media. You can find more about what I do on my website, henriettamooney.com.